And we are live.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the July 21st regular meeting of the East Hampton Town Board. Carol, would you please read the roll call?
Present.
Present.
Here. She's here. I don't know where she is.
Present. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Today, we have 6 public hearings, which will be followed by a public portion where any member of the public may address the board on any topic. We ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. That will be followed by resolutions. And before we get started, I believe we have our town historian with us, Hugh King.
Yes, he's coming in right now. Hello, Hugh. You're on the air.
I'm on the air. There I am. Hi.
There you go.
Morning,
Are you
Hugh.
ready?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Okay,
Welcome.
well, good morning, good morning. We talked about the American Revolution last time, and my investigation leads to William J. Rysam. He came to America after the American Revolution with 5 motherless daughters, and he came to East Hampton after 1784. Why did he come to East Hampton? Not to get them married, but to send them to school. And where did they go to school?
Clinton Academy.
Academy, yeah.
Clinton Academy, that's right. Clinton Academy, remember, allowed girls to go to school. Mr. Rysam, of course, was wealthy. And after his death, his will stipulated that he gives a certain amount of money to the East Hampton Town trustees to use to pay for poor children to go to school. Because years ago, you would pay by the number of days your child attended. And if you look at the East Hampton Town trustee records, they have the Rysam Fund and delegated to each individual school district how much money was being spent to send children to school. The Rysam account is still in existence. The trustees, I think, give out scholarships using that money. Isn't that wonderful?
It is. Yes.
Well, now that's the good news. Now here's the other news. William J. Rysam owned a mahogany grove in Honduras. He had the Dominies make him a sawmill. Then they took it apart and they shipped it there. Who was working in the mahogany grove in Honduras?
Slaves.
Enslaved enslaved people, absolutely. And if you worked in the sugar mills in Barbados or the Honduras grove the mahogany grove in Honduras, those people were worked to death. And then they just were replaced. So that's the other side of the picture, okay? Now here's my plan. Now see what you think of it. Your assignments for next time could be to put all the investigations you have done so far and put them all in one place. Because the 375th anniversary is coming next year, hint, hint, hint. So why don't we have a booklet of all the investigations the East Hampton Town Board has done this year, put them in a booklet and give it out next year. And then after you get them all in one place, I could look at it to make sure I haven't let any historical facts get by. So what do you think? We can do that?
Sounds like a plan, Hugh.
And I'll reach out to former Councilman Bragman for his contributions too, okay?
Very good.
Yep.
So when you get that done, then we'll have our next assignment.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Thank you, Hugh.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
That's a heavy lift.
It is heavy lift. So that's how he's trying to get out of doing this
Does that mean
every other week.
That could be like December we get our
Well,
next
he's looking
assignment?
for a vacation.
Well, do you want to put a time limit on it?
Oh,
Yeah, that ended that discussion, didn't it?
Like a good teacher.
All right, have a good day.
Thank you. Best of Loretta. Carol, would you please read the first public hearing notice?
Take notice that the town board of the town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing in the town board meeting room, 159 Panago Road in East Hampton pursuant to section 247 of the general municipal law and section 64E8 of the town law of the state of New York on July 21st at 11 a.m. or as soon thereafter as this matter may be heard, to consider the following: the town's acquisition for the preservation of open space with community preservation funds of a property located at 229 East Lake Drive in Montauk, reputedly owned by James Spank, and consisting of approximately 0.65 and 0.92 acres of vacant and underwater land at a cost to the town of East Hampton not to exceed $2,200,000, which will include $150,000 in private donations, plus reasonable survey, title, prorated tax, and recording charges. Said property being described on the Suffolk County tax map as 313, 3, 29, and 3, an amendment to the 2022 CPF Management and Stewardship Plan to include said property.
Thank you, Carol. I believe we have Scott Wilson, our Director of Land Planning, to introduce this property.
Sure, happy to do it. Okay, so on the aerial map there, you'll note the two properties we're discussing are outlined in blue, one of them being the underwater land and one being upland. And yes, we are working, as Carol mentioned, with the two abutting neighbors who have agreed to contribute $150,000, provided the town proceeds with the acquisition and preservation of this property. I left the, let's see, I just lost my train of thought there. So this is one of the very few remainder vacant lots on Lake Montauk, and it's located at the intersection of Pocahontas and East Lake. And as you can see by this contour map, not only does the property slope upwards from the lake up to a high of about 20-foot elevation, you'll note that it continues to rise as you follow up Pocahontas all the way up to a high of about 130 feet elevation. This property will receive some of that runoff off this hill. The removal of vegetation and construction of a residence on this lot has the potential to alter drainage patterns and increase flooding. The alternative is preservation, which provides many environmental benefits, including habitat for wetland-dependent wildlife and diverse plant communities, the attenuation of floodwaters, and the removal of pollutants and nutrients prior to surface and groundwater recharge. The property is within the critical lands protection strategy, a scenic area of statewide significance, is within a significant coastal fish and wildlife habitat, and is within a water protection and harbor protection overlay district. The acquisition of these parcels can help ensure that these lands continue to be the kidneys of the lake, naturally filtering contaminants before they enter it. This property meets the criteria set forth in Town Law 64E. I would ask the board to pass a resolution to acquire.
Thank you, Scott. Do we have
Have anybody signed up?
anyone signed up, Carol?
No.
David, you'd like to speak on this public hearing?
Good morning, David Buddha. Just very briefly, as a general matter of protocol, I would request that in the future, the identities and property addresses of any contributors or donors to a town purchase of land be included and specifically identified in the enabling resolutions. I don't have it in front of me, but I don't believe that was done here, although there was a mention of the fact that contributions would be made from third parties. I think that's important for the town's people to know. It's my understanding that when such contributions are made, they're done in a way that will generate a tax deductible contribution, IRS tax deduction. And I assume that was being done in this case as well. Obviously, if they are the neighbors, as Mr. Wilson just said, two neighbors are contributing, what was it, $125,000 or $150,000? Obviously, they are benefiting by virtue of sanitizing or eliminating development adjacent to their properties. And I just think those facts should all be part of the record. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Anyone else wish to speak on this public hearing in the audience? Do we have any callers on the line who wish to speak regarding this proposed acquisition? Jason?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor, give me a second and I will cut to them right now. Hello, caller ending 2355. You are on the air. Do you wish to speak on this acquisition?
No, I'm holding to speak on the community housing public hearing.
Understood. Thank you very much. I'll mark that. Mr. Supervisor, that was our only caller on the line.
Motion to close?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed, carried. Carol, if you'd please read the next hearing notice.
Should I make a motion to conjoin public hearings number 2 and 3?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carol, if you'd please continue.
Take notice that the Town Board of the Town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing on July 21st at 11 a.m. in the Town Board Meeting Room, Town Hall, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, or soon thereafter, as this matter may be heard on a proposed local law providing for the adoption of a revised community preservation project plan pursuant to Section 64E of the New York Town Law, which provides for the preservation of open space, historic places, and recreational areas within the Town of East Hampton, including the incorporated villages therein, to include approximately 3.56 acres of land located at 16 Swamp Road in East Hampton, reputedly owned by Phoebe Ang and identified on the Suffolk County tax map as 300-133-2-6.2.
Thank you, Carol.
I have to do the
You
second
have to
one.
read the second one.
I have the second one. Take notice that the Town Board of the Town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing in the Town Board Meeting Room, Town Hall, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, pursuant to Section 247 of the General Municipal Law and Section 64E8 of the Town Law of the State of New York on July 21st, 11 a.m. or soon thereafter, as this matter may be heard to consider the following: the town's acquisition for the preservation of open space with community preservation funds of a property located at 16 Swamp Road in East Hampton, reputedly owned by Phoebe Ang and consisting of approximately 3.56 acres of developed land at a cost to the Town of East Hampton not to exceed $1,925,000 plus reasonable survey title, prorated tax and recording charges. Said property being described on the Suffolk County tax map as 300-133-2-6.2, and an amendment to the 2022 CPF Management and Stewardship Plan to include said property.
Thank you, Carol. And we have Scott Wilson to introduce this property as well.
Sure. As you can see on the aerial, the property again is outlined in blue, right at the intersection of Swamp Road and 114. It actually has frontage on 114. You note all of the green on this aerial, and that's a significant investment by the town, the county, and the state, all to preserve this sensitive area within Northwest Creek watershed. The property does contain a single-family residence and associated sanitary system in very close proximity to freshwater wetlands. These structures will be removed by the landowner at the landowner's expense and restored to a natural state. This would take place prior to the town taking possession of this property. The Class 1 wetlands on this parcel connect with these, with those present on and adjacent parcels, and form an extensive watershed for Northwest Creek. The benefits of wetlands in general, and these in particular, include the provisions of habitat for wetland-dependent species, the attenuation of floodwaters, and the buffering of pollutants prior to surface and groundwater recharge. These wetlands are vital to ensuring the water quality of this protected inner harbor. The property is within the New York State Coastal Fish and Wildlife Habitat, a scenic area of statewide significance, a special groundwater protection area, a harbor protection overlay district, and the East Hampton Pine Barrens. This parcel meets the criteria set forth in Town Law 64E. For these reasons, I would ask the board to pass a resolution adding this property to the CPF project plan, criteria set forth, and one to acquire.
Thank you, Scott. Anyone here wish to address the board on this? David?
Good morning again, David Buddha. This is yet another example of the town deciding to acquire property that is not currently on the CPF project plan. It's a property that I understand was brought to the attention of the town CPF advisory board by a realtor, and it's my understanding that the town is in the process of agreeing to pay over 96% of the asking price. It may very well be an appropriate property. My question, therefore, is why is the town's CPF project plan deficient in not identifying such an obvious selection of a property that is appropriate for inclusion in consideration for CPF open space acquisition. Mr. Wilson listed a whole host of criteria that this property satisfies, and therefore you would expect that it would be on the CPF project plan, but apparently it was not. And of course, that's probably because it was improved, or it is improved, and the improvements will be removed. The town doesn't seem to have the capability of considering currently improved properties to include in the project plan. I don't think any are included, and it's something perhaps the town needs to take a look at. If there are properties with improvements that are appropriate because of their age, being obsolete, because of obsolescence, whether they should be considered to be included, it's something that the planners need to take a look at. One last thing, as a general rule, I would again request that the town adopt a procedure where the planning department's recommendation, report, and review of properties that is submitted to the CPF Advisory Committee and their rating of that property be made part of the record in advance of a hearing so that people can review it and better understand the property before coming here and listening to Mr. Wilson give his recitation. By the way, considering all the millions of dollars the town is spending on infrastructure improvements, you really could do better as far as replacing those speakers. They're pretty puny, pretty tinny. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Anyone else wish to address the board on this matter? Jason, do we have any callers on the line to address this public hearing?
No, we do not.
Motion to close?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, passed and carried. Carol, if you'd read the fourth hearing notice, please.
Notice is hereby given that the town board of the town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing at Town Hall, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, on Thursday, July 21st, 11 a.m. or soon thereafter, as this matter may be heard to consider comments of all persons regarding amending the town's comprehensive plan to incorporate a community housing implementation plan, the plan, in accordance with subsection 6 of the proposed amendment to Chapter 160 of the Town Code entitled Community Housing Opportunity Fund. An abstract of the plan is available for review at the town clerk's office or online.
Thank you very much, Carol. Is there anyone who wishes to address the board on this matter? David?
Obviously, the town planners have worked long and hard on preparing this update to the what currently is called the Community Housing Opportunity Fund Implementation Plan. The nomenclature is a little confusing because this one document serves many purposes, both relation to being apparently the proposed project plan for the Community Housing Fund that's not yet enacted, but is obviously being contemplated. So the nomenclature is a little confusing. This is referred to in the latest draft, June 27th, as the Community Housing Fund Project Plan. You could also call it the Community Housing Opportunity Fund Implementation Plan. You could also call it the an amendment to the community, to the open space, the housing addition to the current comprehensive plan, the 2005
I'm
comprehensive.
sure we could come up with many names for it.
Okay. So whatever it is, I only actually have one serious concern and objection, and that has to do with one particular provision. It's a provision that, although the enabling legislation allows the town to consider for possible uses for providing housing, affordable housing, I think it's a provision that the town should studiously avoid. I'm referring to the paragraph 7 in the implementation plan on page 19 of 65. It states one of the ways that proposed uses for the Community Housing Fund monies. The provision of down payment assistance or other financial assistance to qualifying home buyers. Assistance may be in the form of a grant or a loan and shall not exceed 50% of the purchase price of the home. As I read that, someone who is to be selected to possibly purchase a affordable house who doesn't have the wherewithal to put down a down payment could be given a grant, not necessarily a loan, a grant of up to 50% of the purchase price. I do not think the town should be in the business of gifting 50% of the purchase price of a house to anyone, even if it's going to be a tax deductible benefit. The town should consider using those monies only as loans that will be repaid at the appropriate time with or without an appropriate amount of interest upon the sale of the house. But to even have in the document the possibility that you will be selecting people to receive up to 50% of the purchase price of a house as a grant, to me, is offensive and inappropriate. I think that should be stricken. I don't know that you will ever do it, but the fact that it's in the plan and that it's in the enabling legislation means that you could consider doing it. And frankly, I think it's something that you should avoid. Other than that, obviously, it's a very comprehensive document. It's put together a lot of information concerning the housing needs of the community. I am 110% an advocate for the town providing affordable rental housing. But when the town gets in the business of creating single-family homes and then potentially gifting 50% of the purchase price to select individuals through a process that will be less than transparent, I think that's a dangerous possibility that should be avoided. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, David. And I'll just reiterate that that is in the enabling state legislation and is occurring in our plan because it is in the state legislation. Anyone else wish to address the board? I'll go to Loring and then Jane.
Good morning.
Morning.
I was coming here to
State your name for the record.
enthusiastically do what?
State your name for the record.
Oh,
Those who
sorry.
don't know you, Loring.
What? My name is Lauren Bolger, and I came here in anticipation of 100% endorsing this addition of whatever we're going to call this plan into the comprehensive plan. But I do feel that David has a good point, and I don't know if it's necessary to include grants in a town plan just because they are included in a state plan. That's way beyond, but it is something to consider because I agree with him. I don't think people should just be given a free ride for 50% of their housing. But while I'm up here speaking about housing and affordable housing, I've been thinking very hard about it, and you guys have done an admirable job in providing townhouses, and you continue to create homes, affordable homes. But I think something that really has to be considered is what I like to call a planned community of small housing units. I don't know how you envision that, but I kind of see that as the town maybe owning the land and the infrastructure, and the potential owner buying at low cost. You know, kind of the same type of loan that David mentioned, so that people would have a vested interest in their property. People tend to take better care of homes that they own than homes that they rent. I've got myriad ideas about this, but this is neither the time nor the place to talk about that. But I do hope you consider planned communities of small housing units in your deliberations. Thanks.
Thank you, Lauren. Jane?
Good morning, Town Board. This is Jane Meering from Amagansett, and I also want to talk about this plan. I'd like to start off by stating my great appreciation to this board, to Jeremy Samuelson and team, to Ms. Nigro and the drafting group, and Mr. Supervisor's Advisory Committee for the organized and really proactive effort to move this ball down the field towards the November referendum and delivering all these steps to get there in an organized and timely process. I've read the draft a few times. And I'd like to just share a number of items I think might be important, if I may, to include that would enhance the citizens' understanding and plan and especially enthusiasm for the referendum. The plan is very honest in its concern that progress, while has been steady, has not quite been, to the level that we would like it to be, even though we've been at this in a way since 2000, and I think CHOP was established in 2003. And you've also correctly stated we're not going to, quote, build our way out of this. So I think via this plan, we want to get people as much of a tangible feel as they can for really what this 1.5% transfer payment can do, kind of what the what did I say? Oh, 0.5%. Sorry, that will be another piece of legislation in the future. 0.5% might be able to be spent and really be able to do sort of the power of it. But there are a few things. First of all, the term affordable community housing, we use these terms a lot. Community housing, affordable, low income, subsidized. I really think for the purpose of this plan, we do have to at least have a core definition. I know there's some reference to, it could be for this income level and, for this cost of housing. But I think we just kind of really need to get that in front, really specific, what the income levels and what the prices are, and also what cannot be done necessarily by this plan and this fund, but can be done elsewhere. Number two, I've heard that there's a affordable housing deficit in the community of perhaps 2,000 units. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if you want to say that in the plan, but I do think the plan should start to really delineate how big the gap is and how this fund can really help to close that. Third, the plan estimates that the 1.5% transfer payment can generate $6 to $12 million per year. And again, I think it would be good to drill down more specifically to kind of what that could cumulatively and annually accomplish over time. I think one of the issues is in the plan, I don't think it really provides an understanding for people of what it costs to deliver a unit of different types of housing. And so perhaps maybe helping people understand, $10 million equals this many ADU loans or this many acres of lands bought or this type of project that we could co-invest, with a private, or even what debt service could be sustained, using some of these funds. Number four, I think it would be really interesting to show in the document a range of salary and incomes for those positions, types of jobs that happen in East Hampton, government employees, teachers, first responders, landscaping and construction workers, healthcare workers, all those people, to really show kind of what the range of incomes is and what that means, for affordability. Fifth, I think it would be valuable to dig more into the East Hampton rental market, how many year-round rentals there really are, apartments, houses, how many have kind of been sucked away to the vacation market, and what the range of rents are. I think that really is a powerful thing that needs to be driven home for people to realize. And then I'd say there was one thing that I thought was a little problematic. It talks about traffic, and it talks about the people who commute to work here as sort of being a cause of that traffic. Go back and look at the language. I think the issue is that it is the insane trade parade and overdevelopment that causes the traffic. But I think it would be good to show that how many people just cannot afford to live here, and if they live 20 miles away, 30 miles away, 50 miles away. And then finally, I would just love to see this plan commit to some kind of regular reporting. It's like a real-time dashboard of sorts that's easily accessible by the public, and it should track intake of funds, spending from the funds, overall statistics about housing, what's being developed, what's being delivered, and timing, because what gets measured gets fixed. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Anyone else wish to address the board on this, ma'am? Yes, ma'am, in the back.
Hi, everybody. Anna Skrenta from Amagansett. I just want to be really simple. We have a desperate need for housing in our community. This plan is addressing it. The transfer fee provides us with desperately needed resources to address the need. So I wholeheartedly support it. And in terms of making home ownership available to people who are vital to our community, I spoke with someone the other day who wouldn't have been able to stay in East Hampton, and he's a vital member of this community, and he would not have been able to if he wasn't given the means by the community housing initiative in the town to own a home here. So I think if we keep it on a human level, this is about people, and the people up here are taking really important steps to help the people who live in this town. So 100% support. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Anyone else wish to address the board? Yes, sir.
Hi, good morning, and pleasure to be here with you. My name is Michael Daly. I reside in North Haven. My group, East End YIMBY, is a group of affordable community housing advocates with hundreds of members, many in East Hampton. And I wanted to commend you for what you have created here with this plan, not only the Community Housing Opportunity Fund, but the actual plan that's in development. It is truly demonstrating all hands on housing. It's truly uncovering many of the issues that we have in all of our townships. We have relationships with some people here in your administration in Southampton Township. We supported and helped Sag Harbor Village put together their recent affordable housing legislation. We're working with people in Riverhead, Southold, and there is another group in Shelter Island that is very active. So congratulations to you for setting such a good, healthy tone. All of you working on it, your departments, Jeremy, your legal department. It's a breath of fresh air to watch this and to see it in action. The one thing I do want to say is we love that this Community Housing Opportunity Fund is what we say is it's local funds for local housing for local people, right? And localism is such an important ingredient in these plans because people have a fear. I mean, we all came from somewhere, right? I came from Queens, but you know, the minute we get in here, we want to close the gate. Well, we can't close the gate because we all have come from somewhere, except the few of us who've been here since birth. But another part of this is it's not only the funding, but it's what you're taking on to evaluate the zoning in the township, because there are not everything can come from funding. Some of it needs to be naturally occurring affordable housing. And that's where what the woman who came up secondly spoke about is small home communities. There's such a thing as called the missing middle housing. And that this scheme really works very, very well in helping people, local people, to create what's called naturally occurring affordable housing. And over time, I'm just encouraging you to take a look at zoning within the township and to change your zoning to allow for naturally occurring affordable housing to take place. And I'm sure you will, because you all are on the ball. So thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you, Michael. Anyone else wish to address the board on this? Yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Kelly Dunn. I live in Montauk. I just wanted to thank you for addressing this affordability crisis that our essential workers, service workers are facing. And I just wanted to express my 100% support for the adoption of the plan.
Thank you, Kelly. Anyone else? Jason, I believe we have some callers on the line.
Yes, we do. I will unmute our first caller now. Hello, caller ending 2355. You are on the air.
Hi, thanks everybody. This is Jen Folks from the Montauk Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much for taking my call. And I just want to kind of read a brief statement from the Montauk Chamber with a couple of suggestions to this plan. But before I do that, I want to say that the Chamber is fully behind this plan. It's an amazing plan. You guys have done so much work, and we are so grateful. As we discussed in the Business Committee meeting yesterday, the Montauk Chamber of Commerce has several suggested changes or clarifications to the proposed community housing referendum. First, the proposal passed by the state, S6492, specifically states that the intent of the law is to create affordable housing. It also states that the demand of land for luxury and seasonal homes and seasonal rentals has left a short supply of housing opportunities for moderate income and working class local residents. The Chamber would like to make sure that the word seasonal, as it refers to seasonal workforce housing, is understood to be different and separate from regular seasonal housing and seasonal rentals, as mentioned in the above passage. When we ask for seasonal affordable housing, the Chamber means housing for the seasonal workforce that our businesses rely upon, not summer rentals for vacationers. Second, the Chamber recommends that the Town of East Hampton specify that the advisory board advising the town on this program and reviewing the applications for dispersal of the affordable housing funds always include a minimum of one person from the hotel industry and one person from the restaurant industry. And third, the Chamber feels that there is a need for a little bit more clarification with regard to defining who will be eligible to obtain and inhabit the housing options created with these funds and how eligible participants will be chosen. I thank you all for your time, and you know where to find me. We are always happy to help out with the town, working with you guys on all of this.
Thank you for calling in, Jen.
Thanks,
Jason,
Peter.
do we
Have a
have
great
any
day.
Yes, moving on to the next
other
caller.
callers on the line?
Absolutely.
Back to you.
All right, caller ending 2341. You are on the air. Can you hear me?
Hi, yes. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. You are on the air.
It's Bryony Frage calling from East Hampton Town, Sag Harbor. I am calling in full support of this plan. I thank you guys so much for all the work that you've put into this. I just always remind people who may not themselves benefit from community housing. Myself, I am not in need of community housing, but I am acutely aware that everyone benefits from community housing, not just those who qualify. You know, and I rely on many community members in our area who prepare our food, drive our kids to school, run local government to have housing. And I feel very strongly that this plan really provides a roadmap for how to use the funds that will very hopefully pass in November to give maximum benefit to those who need and deserve housing. I also don't think that this is a handout in any way. You know, a speaker earlier was referring to gifting. We all, you know, housing is a human right, and we really need people of all various income levels to be able to live here, work here, and be part of our community. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity to have 50% of a down payment for a home, you know, from these funds go towards that especially. So thank you very much.
Thank you for calling, Bryony.
All right, and we have...
Do we have any other callers on the line?
Yes, we got two more callers on the line right now. Hello, caller ending 7746. You're on the air.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. This is Catherine Soka from PEER, Progressive East End Reformers, which is a grassroots group representing Eastern Suffolk County, including 50 members and over 500 people who are followers. First of all, I just want to thank the town board for putting the plan together. We think it's a solid blueprint for moving forward to provide housing that is critically needed for so many people in our community that others have already enumerated. I'm also a small business owner and retail business owner in Sag Harbor, and I teach photography, and I just have to say in the last several years, getting people in to work for the business has been increasingly more difficult. And as a landscape photographer teaching in the landscape, it's become almost impossible to have courses because the traffic volume, especially at the end of the day with everybody who works here but lives elsewhere, almost makes it impossible for my workshop to move around. So just another anecdotal piece of information as to how the housing crisis has created such a traffic crisis on our roads, which of course everybody knows about. So I just want to, again, fully support what you're doing, to let you know that I am part of the committee that's going to be advocating for passage of the referendum come November. And I just also have to say that most of the people, well, I'll speak for myself, I'd never be able to afford to live here, if I was offered a job today to come into the community and work. And so I think that we have to look at a way to provide for a healthy community has different levels of people living in different economic brackets, as well as diversity in other ways culturally. And I think we really need to, it's up to the town and the county and the state to kind of like help right the scale so that we can have a healthier and more equitable community. So thank you for your time and thank you for your work. I so appreciate it.
Thank you, Catherine. Jason, we have any more callers?
Yes, we do. Unmuting next caller. Hello, caller ending 0373. You're on the air.
Thank you. Good morning, members of the town board. My name is Pilar Moya Mancera. I am the Executive Director of Housing Help, Inc., a HUD-certified not-for-profit housing counseling agency that provides eviction prevention counseling and foreclosure prevention counseling in Eastern and Western Suffolk. I am here today to voice my support for the community housing plan. This plan provides the roadmap that we need to address the housing crisis in East Hampton and the surrounding areas. Hearing stories of our clients and what they go through have brought me here to speak on this issue. Housing out east is quite unaffordable, and that leaves individuals having to travel far to get to work. Clients must commute to make it to a not very high-paying jobs out east, and the high cost of gas negates the amount they make working, decreasing the income they take home significantly. Is this even worth it? I hear from some. Small businesses, the backbone of our economy, are short of staff due to workers having to live too far away as well. Both the workers and the small business owners are suffering. If they're suffering, then who's gaining and enjoying? The mental and emotional effect that this situation has on the children, on the students, the children of my clients, the students that have to constantly move homes, move from schools, as they shift from one place to another without a stable housing, is drastic as well. No consistent friends, no consistent teachers, curriculum, which we all know is necessary for a student to thrive in school. The lack of affordable housing is an issue that hurts so many around us. It makes life a never-ending sprint for those who can't afford to take a break. And the community housing plan is the first step to allowing part of our community to thrive and build a new life for themselves. On a quick side note, I've been working really hard with the community out east. They come all the way here to Greenlawn for services. I've been writing grants so that we are able to provide services out east. What I found is that none of my employees, I will have to, when I mentioned this to my employees, we wanted it to be able to at least have someone that lives closer out east, and none of us can really afford, not even me as the executive director of Housing Help, and in 2 years I will be more than willing to move out east and bring services, I wouldn't even be able to buy a small cottage there. So please, I'm very grateful, and thank you to you all for taking the necessary steps to help the communities that really need it. Thank you.
Thank you for calling, Pilar. Do we have any other callers?
Yes, we do. One more caller right now. Hello, caller ending 2316. You're on the air.
Yes. Okay, my name.
Can you mute the TV or whatever's in the background?
Yes, yes, I can. Hi, my name is Betty Smith.
Can you mute the TV or whatever's in the background?
Okay. Yeah, I'm calling to commend the comprehensive plan for the to incorporate
Betty,
the
I
community
apologize,
housing.
but could you just turn it off then? The TV in the background?
I see. Sorry about that.
All right.
Yeah, I called to commend the board for the comprehensive plan to incorporate community housing. I feel that it's really so important. So many people cannot afford to live here, and I think the community suffers because we don't have the people to work here in restaurants and in the health field even. So I also would like to say that I feel we should have that 50% help for people who cannot afford the down payment. I think that's a very important part of the plan. So this is all I have to say right now, but I'm really very happy to be able to have my input on this. Thank you.
Thanks for calling, Betty. And Jason, is that all the callers?
Yeah, we have no new callers.
Okay, I'll go back to the audience. Prudence, did you want to make a comment? Please state your name for the record.
My name for the record is Prudence Talmadge Hamilton Carabine. And I started working in 1985 with affordable housing because I brought over a whole bunch of J1 visa students from Ireland to the tune of about 1,200 over 10 years. And they wanted a job, they needed a bicycle, and then they needed a place to live. And it was impossible then to find anything really decent, but we made do. Then I got involved with Habitat for Humanity and built 14 houses between Southampton and East Hampton until there was no longer any affordable property that the towns wished to give to Habitat for Humanity. Then I did something a little bit unusual that I thought I could handle, which was Maureen's Haven. Well, I came down to the conclusion that all I could do was offer a warm, safe bed. I couldn't solve the problems that go with people who are homeless, but I also couldn't find them apartments for those who were homeless because of a relationship that went bad or the loss of a job. Couldn't do it. Had to send them to Riverhead with the problems that are involved with the county housing. So I know what affordable housing means and how it works for those who cannot afford to stay here, because I make a joke, which you've all heard. I have 3,200 cousins here. I came over on the boat in 1648, and a lot of those people are now gone, and I can't blame them, but they can't even get a motel room here to go to Main Beach. This is tragic. It's the death of a culture, as you all know. But I want to speak not to affordable, quote unquote, but to the fact that we now have professional people, bankers, lawyers, and Indian chiefs, doctors, etc., who can't afford to buy here. And the issue with middle class, quote unquote, housing, as you all know, is that we have people who are making $200,000, $250,000, $300,000 a year and can't afford to buy, which means that our doctor population is diminishing, and the only professionals who are getting rich are the real estate agents. So how do you provide housing for professionals who are making very good incomes in a place where all the properties are worth between 800,000 and 4 million, give or take? It's a very difficult problem to solve. And I have read your report from beginning to end twice. I've worked on a lot of these issues myself with Jay Schneiderman's group. You may remember Barbara Jordan, John Connor. We worked for years on trying to build up affordable housing stock, and it did not end well, but Amato Ortiz finally got the manor houses built. Thank you. And it's not a bad idea. I hope someday you'll come back to that. I know you've had some stickiness with that, but manor houses are an efficient way to hide affordable housing in our community because they look like estate homes. So how do you build equity for professional people who are making between $200 and $300 a year but can't afford to live here anymore? My husband jokes that what they need is a helicopter. I don't think that's the answer. I think that we need a full display of housing opportunities, but the equity issue for those who are making very, very good money, but still can't afford to live here is kind of a nut that's hard to crack, and I hope that you'll figure that one out. So thank you very much for all the time and effort that you've put into this. I wish it had happened 20 years ago. But now it's happening. Let's do it. I would love to be a part of helping out. And I feel that we will be able to save maybe a third, maybe 40% of those who really want to stay. That would be wonderful. They're my cousins, after all. But I think we have to look at that high-end mortgage also and figure out how to encourage professionals to stick around with equity or without equity. Thank you very much.
Great. Anyone else wish to address the board on this matter? I'll go back to the phone lines. Jason, do you have any other callers have called in?
We have no new callers.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. Carol, if you'd read the fifth hearing notice for today.
Please take notice that pursuant to Section 247 of the General Municipal Law of the State of New York and the provisions of the East Hampton Town Code, the Town Board of the Town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing in the Town Hall Meeting Room, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, on Thursday, July 21st at 11 a.m. or as soon thereafter as this matter may be heard concerning the following grant of scenic and conservation easement to the Town of East Hampton. The grantor is 188 OMH LLC. It's a scenic and conservation easement dated May 25th at 188 Old Montauk Highway in Montauk, Suffolk County Tax Map 387-320, and the reviewing agency is the ZBA.
Thank you, Carol. Is there anyone here who wishes to address the board on this matter? I'll entertain a motion to close.
Motion to close.
Phone lines?
Jason, do we have any callers on the line?
We have one person that's still on the line. Let's see if they wish to talk about this as well. Hello, caller ending 2341. Do you wish to talk about the scenic easement? Oh, they hung up literally as I unmuted them. All right, I guess that's a no.
I'll second the motion to close.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Passed and carried. Carol, if you'd read the sixth and final hearing notice for today.
Please take notice that pursuant to Section 247 of the General Municipal Law of the State of New York and the provisions of the East Hampton Town Code, Town Board of the Town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing in Town Hall Meeting Room, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, on Thursday, July 21st at 11 a.m. or soon thereafter as this matter may be heard concerning the following grant of scenic and conservation easement to the Town of East Hampton. The grantor is Victor and Athena Calderon. It's a scenic and conservation easement dated December 21st of 2021 at 21 Robbins Way in Springs, Suffolk County Tax Map 300-103-924.1, and the reviewing agency is the ZBA.
Thank you, Carol. Anyone wish to address the board on this matter? Jason, do we have any callers on the phone?
We have no callers on the line.
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. Brings us up to a public portion where any member of the public may address the board on any matter. We again ask that you try to keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. Yes, sir. Morning, Brad.
My name is Brad Lowen. After nearly 30 years of begging and trying and doing everything we can, the fishermen, that is, I'm here to speak about fisheries. We managed to get a press release from the DEC that said they are going to move on some of the requests that we've had to change the licensing requirements so that we can get new blood into the fisheries. I'd like to thank the board for every effort that they may have made to get here. We don't know if we're going to get everything that we wanted, but at least it's a move forward. Now, I am going to make a request here of the board, but let me preface this first. As much as we complain and moan about the trade parade and the airport and stuff like that, we really do have to recognize that they bring a boatload of money into this town every day, every single day, and we live on it because that's our only economy. Our only economy is what comes into this town, with the exception of one industry, and that's fisheries. We actually export stuff here. And as an aside, just to let you know, the industry, I personally do not know of one single fisherman who has come to work every day on the trade parade, nor one single fisherman who has ever begged the town to give them a house. So you have this industry here. Problem is, it isn't thriving. We're really not doing very well simply because we need help. I'm going to suggest that this town only does have one economy, and the trade parade and the airport perhaps is a reflection of it, because so much comes in here. But anything that is, but we only do have that one economy, and anything that really hurts that is going to be bad for the town. It doesn't have to be catastrophic, like this place turning into a water world in 30 years. It could be not enough lifeguards or hungry sharks to shut down the beach. Once that happens, this is going to lose. So I guess what I'm trying to do is ask that you make a better effort to protect the fishing industry in this town than even what you have been doing. And what the request that I would like to make right now is that the town board has a resolution that states the fisheries in this town are a necessary and vital industry and a necessary and vital part of the overall economy. We believe that you can then use that resolution to ask questions, use a little bit of leverage. You've managed to find hundreds of thousands of dollars to do things for the environment, like floating grass in the southern part of Montauk Lake. But we need some money to get a comprehensive socioeconomic study for the industry. We need you to be able to ask the DEC, not if they're doing secret, but if they're doing secret properly. That's things that we need answered. They don't answer us. And as I said, 30 years to try to get them to revise some of their licensing practices is an example of that. We need you to do that because we are a part of this town. We are necessary to the economy. We are here. So my first request is indeed to get that resolution. You guys write up a resolution and say, we need the fishing industry in town. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Anyone else wish to address the board this time? Yes, Brian.
Good afternoon, Mr. Supervisor, members of the board. Brian Matthews, Kirsten Cooley, 241 Panago Road, East Hampton. I wasn't sure if this is the proper moment to do this. I'm here myself and with our clients, a number of colleagues, to address one of the resolutions that are on the board's agenda this afternoon. If you prefer to make sure we have an opportunity to discuss it at that point in time, I'm happy to do that. Otherwise, we'd like to take a
I prefer you do it in public comment.
Right now.
Sure.
Okay, so I am here on behalf of, in connection with resolution, it's the last agenda, a resolution on the agenda 2022-950, authorizing the town attorney's office to take legal action against the restaurant at 4 South Elmwood Avenue, which is operated as Cell Rose. And I'm here with a number of the owners and representatives of that restaurant, and collectively, for the life of us, we can't really understand the reason why the town would be adopting a resolution to initiate any kind of legal action. To our knowledge, there's been no appearance tickets, no violations issued. There's an outdoor dining application that's in. There's no issues with overcrowding. There's no issues with tables being moved for dancing and what have you. So if the board can shed some light on why it's adopting a resolution today, I'm sure that'll be helpful for everybody.
David, you want to
Yes.
answer that question?
So David McMaster from the Town Attorney's Office. With the board's permission, I could speak to address both resolutions for TTs and Cellrose. So starting with TTs, the maximum occupancy inside the establishment is 74 people.
Can you come to the mic so it's here?
Yes, Mr. Buddha. I apologize.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's good, David.
All right. So, as I said, TT's has a maximum indoor occupancy of 74 people. On July 4th, the allegations are that a representative from the East Hampton Town Fire Marshal's office visited and observed approximately 132 people at approximately 1:10 a.m. On July 8th, at 11:25 p.m., a fire marshal visited and observed 102 people inside the establishment. On July 15th, a representative from the fire marshal's office visited the establishment and observed 86 people inside at 11:15 p.m. On July 16th, 112 people at 11:15 p.m. were observed. In addition to those over occupancy numbers, I'm informed by Fire Marshal Tom Baker that there have been repeated requests from his office to conduct a fire safety inspection, and that TT's has failed to schedule or call for that inspection. Now, with respect to Mr. Matthews' client, Cellrose, I don't have the specific numbers for the overcrowding. Chief Brown is here. Perhaps he has those numbers, but I do have a breakdown of dates and alleged violations. On July 4th, 2022, there was a visit from the fire marshals, and there were allegations of overcrowding, change of use, no sprinkler system, and a violation of site plan. On July 9th, a fire marshal visited and observed overcrowding and a failure to adhere to site plan. On July 17th, this past Sunday, a fire marshal visited, observed overcrowded conditions, change of use, no sprinkler, and no certificate of occupancy. Now, members of the board, with respect to both of these properties, I would submit that such conditions create a very real threat to the health and safety of every member of the public that goes into those locations, and that necessitates injunctive relief now, not after the restaurants have had an opportunity to operate for another month at the expense of potential risk to public safety. Thank you.
Hey, Dave, can you move that back? By the way, can you move the podium back? Thank you.
If I may, Mr. Supervisor, and we can have, did you want to get up and talk to me 1 second?
Let me just say, Brian, that I don't intend to litigate this
No,
matter here.
nor I, but there's better use.
You're welcome. Welcome to make comments.
Yeah.
I think it's been made clear as to what this action is.
Well, I'm not,
is about.
I would disagree with that. I think the opening statement about Cell Roads, which is what I'm here to talk about, was that I don't have any specifics, and then stood here and said, but injunctive relief is necessary to address these things that he didn't really have any specifics about.
Well, I think he was
So
very
to me, that
specific
seems a little
in
bit
terms of
bit off.
overcrowding.
There's better ways to
There are
deal.
alleged violations of overcrowding, repeated
Better ways
occurrences.
to deal with this. No violations have been issued.
Well, I
No-
think the better
nothing
way of
pending in
dealing
front of
with it,
anybody at all at the moment.
frankly, Mr. Matthews, if your client wishes to abide by the regulations, that would be a better way of dealing with this.
Agreed, and I believe that they are.
Well, again, I don't want to. We're not going to litigate that here today. You have concerns about it. You can express that you disapprove of the resolution that we have, but in terms of litigating the particulars of that will occur in court.
I think this is about the propriety of this action. We'll litigate the particulars if and when that time comes. But this is Kristen Vincent, she's a resident taxpayer, the owner of Cell Road. She would like to address the board.
Hi.
Welcome. You just please state your name again for the record.
Hello, my name's Kristen Vincent. And so I just also wanted to introduce myself to you as well. I live in Montauk full time with my daughter Angelina. And it's been my understanding that this entire season, they've come in and the fire marshal, especially Tom Baker, has come in and he would actually leave saying like, well done, you've done a good job. So this is completely a surprise to all of us that are here that this is even happening. Like we woke up this morning to that this meeting was even happening. We've done so many measures to go away from how we were viewed last year. And we've also like given up a lot of income on purpose and not let people come in, hoping that we could do right by the town this year. So we're very shocked. My mom's here. She sees the stress that we go under. Like as soon as we hear the fire marshals are here, we write nightly reports. In the nightly reports, it's literally like, you guys did a great job. Keep up what you're doing. So it's so strange to me that these reports are coming in. But I'm almost like, where are they coming from? It doesn't seem like what we're getting coming to us. Karen or Sean, and also I wanted to add, we're open year round. We've hosted like many benefits for people. All the locals come, and it just seems like in the last 3 weeks, they come every day. And we're okay, what do you want? Just tell us what to do and we'll do it. Anyway, I'm nervous talking.
Yeah, I understand. My understanding is that the town has a requirement that places of business such as yours are supposed to keep track of the occupancy at all times of the property, and it's supposed to stay within the allowed occupancy. And when properties are overcrowded, it creates an unsafe condition.
Absolutely.
And so that's what this is about. When we see that we're getting repeat allegations of violations of overcrowding, particularly, that causes a significant safety concern. And the town is not willing to have this be simply a matter of paying fines as part of doing business.
Absolutely.
And so, our ultimate goal is for businesses to prosper, but to do so in a way that's safe for the community and reflects the standards of the community, which I think are well known and expressed in the town code. And so I don't think we have any problems with any businesses that, can abide to those rules and regulations. And so when we see a business that allegedly continually, pursues a track that does not stay within those bounds, then we will feel compelled to take action beyond simple fines. And that's really what we're dealing with here.
And I completely agree with that. And I don't think it should be done. And what I'm trying to say today is that the fire marshal has been in there and he's congratulated us on how well we're doing. And and we're not overcrowded. So I don't know why it's being said that we are.
Well, because they're not just congratulations, there are apparently a number of violations that have been cited, so.
So yeah, we had no written citations that have been given to us.
Morning. Hello, my name is William Hoff. I'm one of the managers at Selrose in Montauk. I first came out here in 2015 from New York City, born and raised. My mom is a native Long Island person from Hicksville area. I met my wife in Montauk. I've somehow made it possible to come out here every year given the housing crisis. And Kristen Vincent, who is a member of the community, has opened Selrose right before the depths of COVID. They came through, and just like Montauk and everywhere else that is a small business, has been, thriving because of the volume of people that come to Montauk every weekend. The population, increases tenfold. We have, since I came on board last year, I think no one could prepare for the amount of people, the influx of people that do come in every day, some nights, weekends. But we are a place that is open year round. It's our third year round season. Sorry, not season, but fully open every year. And this past year, we've done benefits for the Friends of Erin. We've hosted the fire department memorial service. We've hosted and donated product and our space to the Chamber of Commerce for a mixer, for other small businesses to meet and meet like-minded people like us who are all out here to make a living. I brought my family out here, my baby, and none of us want to jeopardize the relationship we have with our business. And Kristen Vincent, whose daughter goes to school in Montauk, we just operate a business in the best way that we know how. We've increased security. We've increased, staff to handle the volume and manage more and more. I mean, we were open year round, and at the day before Memorial Day weekend, we get a visit from the fire marshal to take your string lights down. No problem. We were compliant. Took the string lights down. Can't have outdoor seating. No problem. We won't sit outside. And then the next day, the code enforcement says outside seating is okay. I mean, sometimes the fire department and the code enforcement don't really know their left hand from their right, in my experience. Later to find out that the outdoor seating was not granted, and they quote from the code enforcement that they have been sent every day to come cite us for having outdoor seating. When we found this out, we have completely removed the outside seating. We have done nothing but be compliant. Every issue that is presented to us, you guys say jump, we say how high. We just want to, be here for the community as well as work within the guidelines of the town. And I feel like we've been doing a good job. Me as one of the managers on the floor, when the fire marshals do come and visit, they do a walkthrough. It's a small space. Sometimes it can look full, especially busy weekend nights or even days, especially some places, we see crowded in the middle of the day. I mean, it's people. I mean, out here is a beast, and especially in the summertime, that doesn't stop. And we have done, everything we can to help handle these issues, and we're still working on it. So I just want to say I'm in favor and be positive for Selrose, and thank you to everybody.
Thank you, Warren.
Afternoon, board. My name is Sean Hewitt. I'm a lifelong resident of Montauk. As you all know, my father, we ran many restaurants. I just want to say, I've seen a lot of places all in this town that have fistfights, every night in their parking lots. And for the little bit of maybe overcrowding that we didn't actually see or don't actually think exists, it's heartbreaking for me to see that what happens in this town like this. Instead of somebody actually saying, hey, why don't you guys, you're doing something wrong. Don't try to be the nice guy, tell us we're doing everything right, and then turn around and stab us in the back. We support a lot of people in Montauk. We have a lot of families. I just want to get that off my chest. That's it. Peace.
Thank you, Sean.
Hello, Peter. Hello, board. My name is Orla Revel. I'm a Montauk resident. I'm also one of the owners of the Viking Fleet in Montauk. TT's is our tenant located on our property of 466 Westlake Drive. So obviously this is a surprise to us as a longtime business in Montauk also. My relationship obviously is as a landlady to these guys. They've been very, very respectful of all the rules, followed anything that we've asked them to do, and I expect them to continue to do so. Now that we are aware of this problem, I really would like to be involved in the fact that the occupancy was, being overused. So I'm just here really to say that the Viking Fleet is on board, to help with any changes that we need to make. My husband is a volunteer fireman in Montauk, so I obviously do not want to ever see a situation. We own the building for, since the 50s. We don't want anything to happen there. My child, he grows up in Montauk. I want everything to be safe. So I would just say that I'd like to support these two local businesses, and really, if there's anything we can do to help them come into compliance, we're here to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Our goal here is to have compliance and to make sure that businesses operate safely.
Yeah.
Hi, Peter. Hi, everyone. My name is Tony Piletsky. I'm one of the owners of TT's Montauk. The rest are here in the back with me as well. I agree with some of the sentiment that I've been hearing from the owners and people that have spoken on these allegations against us, which I'm not going to comment on. It's not it's not my job. So, but what I will say is we have been working extremely hard and ready and willing and able to meet with you, meet with Tom, meet with the fire marshal at any moment to address issues that have been coming up. And I sort of got a heads up on that this was going to happen today. You guys are going to take on a vote that would eventually send us into an injunction, which would close us down until we end up in a court, which would officially end our season. And that's about 50 to 60 local staff members that would lose their job in housing and have to leave. But I just wanted to introduce myself and say that we are, we're doing our best. Like Will said, like with the influx of people and the close of like businesses like Common Ground and Rushmeyer's, like unfortunately the lines, those people are finding other places to go. And like Will, we spend a lot of money on security every single Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night to try to work with Tom and the crowd and manage the difficulties that comes with being a business in Montauk sometimes and becoming one of the fewer limited spaces in Montauk. And we never meant to like abuse our power or our relationship or what have you. So I just wanted to stand it up and introduce myself and say those few things. So thank you,
Tony. Anyone else wish to speak? Brian, you want to say something additionally?
Yeah, just very quickly. So I thank the supervisor and the board for his time. So I guess really on behalf of my client, I think you're hearing the same sentiment from everybody at TT's. I think it's a prudent way to go about things. And when you have one business that I know of and with seemingly another one that, they are working with fire marshal and doing all that they can. And when there are, at least with Selrose, 0 pending violations, you can understand why seeing this resolution tacked onto a town board agenda to go to court to sue them is a little unsettling and somewhat surprising. I think there's a better way to go about this, and we're happy to sit down and sit with Dave and sit with Tom and sit with Dave Brown and figure out the best way to go forward here. But I don't think that this is it. I know that this board cares about businesses, and I think there's a better way to go about it, and I would ask the board to take that approach.
Brian, I think, the way we've gone about this in the past is to issue summonses and seek compliance. And we see, repeat offenses, alleged offenses for the same thing over and over, particularly overcrowding, which is, an incredibly important thing to regulate because, we know of tragedies that have happened because of overcrowding, whether fires or, human stampedes, something happens, people get hurt, lives are at stake.
I get it. I think it is.
Every business, in order to have a level playing field, must operate by the same rules. So when some start operating beyond the rules repeatedly, then, it's incumbent upon the town board to take actions. And it is a very short season, and we want compliance within the season.
Understood, and I agree. I think everybody shares those same goals, like many other people here. My wife's an officer in the Montauk Fire Department, and they take all that very seriously, and I know these businesses do as well. But I think just one of your statements that there's allegations of repeated violations. I think, but the main point that I'm trying to get across here is, at least with respect to Cell Rose, I can speak that a little bit more intelligently. I don't really know all the specifics about TTs. Is that's not the case. So that's what I'm saying. If there are no violations pending, there's not allegations of repeated violations of the town code, and I think that's kind of where there's a disconnect.
But that's not our understanding.
There's pending unarraigned violations against there's field appearance tickets have been issued.
Nobody's ever seen.
David, can you repeat that?
Yeah.
Into the microphone.
There's pending unarraigned violations against both establishments. I just confirmed that with the chief fire marshal.
And there's multiple, and they're repeat. So, they've been cited, been told that this is a problem, and it recurs again night after night. So I think
that's my question. The unarraigned violations means they probably haven't even been served yet. So they've not been cited and been put on notice. If they've been unarraigned, it means they haven't been served and they haven't been brought into court.
Well, apparently you're on notice now.
Apparently. So we'll deal with it as appropriately as possible. But I think there's a better approach, and I think I asked the board.
Well, again, I think that the best approach is simply, don't violate, and then there aren't any problems. Good. People can pursue, the business. We do support businesses. We support having a level playing field and the safety and enjoyment of all. So I think
agreed.
I think we can get on the same page.
I think we can. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address the board on any other matters? Yes, Jane.
I wanted to just take a couple minutes here in public portion to raise a couple issues around public beach access, which I know lingers on everyone's mind. I was inspired by two agenda items you had on Tuesday, beaches and capital projects. And then also just want to reflect on a conversation that you had last week on something to do with beaches. So regarding that third point, last Thursday, Councilwoman Brooke Gonzalez highlighted some recent trends in special events permitting applications. Not only was it mentioned that you were seeing a meaningful, if not unprecedented, surge in numbers of applications overall, but specifically you noted a concerning number of events being planned on our town beaches for unusually large numbers of people and consuming, I think, inordinately large swaths of beach areas. So I want to thank for the council people raising it publicly so we can think about it. And I hope that within the existing remit of the special events committee, you are able to exercise as much discretion as you would like and deny large-scaled private events on public beaches. But I imagine it might be better to codify prohibitions of certain types of larger private and commercialized and even branded events. So I hope, maybe this is when the season is over, that you might see fit to propose, draft, and adopt some limitations on scope of beach special events, perhaps restricting gatherings in those sites, maybe in excess of 20 or 30 people. I know, like you've said, we're all used to like the family clam bake and marriage vows, being exchanged. I don't know what the right number is, but I feel like it should be small, perhaps actually limiting footprint of any events that would be permitted, perhaps prohibiting them within, I don't know what the right number is, 1,000 feet of established pedestrian beach access points, whatever numbers, might be appropriate. As I've stated before to this board, the proliferation of large and lavish beach parties and events not only infringe and usurp public access, but they undermine
the residents' public right to peaceful and passive enjoyments of our beaches day and night. And as you also noted, they create a big challenge for Ordnance and Marine Patrol resources that are already stretched. Stratified tiers of exclusive elite usage based on money and means has no place on our beaches. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else wish to address the board?
Hello, my name is Jacob Coladas. I'm one of the co-owners of Selrose. I just want to state that we came out here about 4 years ago, fell in love with the Hamptons, and we right from the beginning, we tried to be a year-round business. Excuse me, hiring local people and working with local business. We frequent everywhere in Hampton. I mean, we come out to 1770 House, all these restaurants around here. So we love the Hamptons. We love the support. And, I think that Selrose is really just a place of love. And, we also want to be compliant with any kind of rules and things that are going on in Montauk. So we're happy. It comes out a little bit of surprise to us, as stated with my partners, but also that if we can sit down with you guys, we'd love to have you at Selrose. I'd love to create more of a bond with the East Hampton town and Montauk, and I feel like maybe in the past there was some separation there. So maybe with some of these new ways we can do away with some of that, and I think that us working closer together can create a better environment for all of us. So thank you for listening, and I hope to see some of you guys over at our restaurant.
Thank you, JP. David?
Just a couple of brief words about beach access. The season is always upon us, and then before you know it, it's gone, and we're more than halfway, and it'll be gone. And I'm sure that you will not be able to achieve any significant increase in parking to provide beach access for residents this season, but I hope that you are going to be very diligent about continuing your efforts, Mr. Lease, to, as you've mentioned before, to have the town survey existing ocean beach road ends to determine how much town right-of-way there is, how much parking has been built, what is a reasonable capacity of any additional parking that could be built. And then there's one property that always is in the back of my mind, and I just would like you to conclude that in your constellation of thoughts of improving ocean beach access for the residents of the town, and that's a town-owned parcel on Beach Plum Court that could be considered for a modest amount of on-site parking to provide access to the nearby town easement to leading to the ocean area. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Anyone else wish to address the board? Yes. Anna?
Hi again, Anna Skrenta from Amagansett. I just wanted to share a story of something that happened this morning in furtherance of my support for the Community Housing Fund. I was walking my dog and every day on the beach, and I met a man named George, and we started chatting, and he told me how he is a 7th generation East Hampton resident, or not resident, that's the point of my story. His family is 7 generations in East Hampton. He lives in East Quogue. And he gets up at 3:30 in the morning to get on the train to come out to work for my neighbor. And he was just telling me stories about growing up out here and stopping to help the turtles cross the road and crabbing, and just beautiful, beautiful stories. His grandmother being born at her home and on, I think, Springy Banks. And just, it was really beautiful. And I said, George, I'm going to the town board meeting today, and I'm going to talk for you. And can I mention your name? He said, absolutely. I said, you're the kind of person that I think the Community Housing Fund is so important to help. And so I just wanted to share that with the board. And again, thank you for all your hard work and dedication in this effort in this area. And, for many community members are going to work really hard to get this referendum passed. So thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Anyone else wish to address the board? Jason, do we have any callers on the line?
Yes, we do, and I will unmute that caller right now. Hello, caller ending 4761.
Hey, Peter.
You're on the air.
Hey, Peter. How's it going? It's Leo Daunt from the Chamber of Commerce, Bird on the Roof, Albatross, and the Business Committee.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. I just wanted to say that I'm fully in support of regulating overcrowding in Montauk, and I realize it can be a very dangerous situation. I am calling, though, to ask about best practices in regulating these businesses. Is it normal to get businesses to comply by putting them on notice the day of seeking adjunctive relief? Or would it be better for us to send them violations and let them know about those in advance of, pending litigation?
So, Leo, as you know, this is a very short season that we have, and when we see that we get repeated violations issued, alleged violations in a short period of time with no change of behavior, then I think the next step for the town, it does become injunctive relief. So, I'm hopeful that we'll find that we have businesses that will become compliant, even though they may not have been in the past. The season is short. I think everybody would be better served by staying within the rules and regs.
Yeah, I think we all want to see everyone achieve that. I just wonder, is there a way that we could have let them know that those violations occurred? Because it sounds like there's a disconnect between what they knew and today.
Yeah, I'm not sure that there really is a disconnect. I can't imagine the fire marshal shows up at a business and writes them for overcrowding and they don't know about it. I mean, that's just hard for me to fathom. But again, I'm not going to litigate this here. That will occur in court. And I just would remind everybody that, safety has to come first.
Yep, I completely agree. I appreciate your time, and thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Leo.
Be well, Leo. Do we have any other callers on the line?
We have no other callers on the line.
Okay, anyone else here like to make a comment before we move on?
Hi, just one more comment from me, Tony Piletsky. I guess I just want to make it known as well. I don't know if it was explicitly stated that TT's was also not aware of any fines or given any paperwork or citations and let us know. And I'm unsure if there's actually official counts. So again, too, this is a little after going through. I opened late 3 years ago into a late season, and then 2 years straight of COVID, and then finally getting some headway to be able to pay off some of the debt that I created and some of my employees and give them bonuses, subsidize their housing, and do all this. And right now I'm looking at we're looking at closure essentially in Montauk, which to me is a little bit of a crazy concept that COVID ended and now we're just going to go close down all the small businesses. I'm on the Montauk Chamber of Commerce. And I wish that we could have, we reached out, we tried, and I wish that we could have done more before we got here, but I just wanted to make that comment.
Okay.
So thank you.
And I'll just say, the mechanism of preventing overcrowding is in place, and it's a responsibility of owners to make sure that their properties are managed in that way.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
At this point, I think we can move on to resolutions.
Great. Starting with Resolution 2022-918, it's approval of the warrant. Claims total $4,118,208.65, and the utility warrant totals $46,579.36.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pass and carry.
Resolution 919, accept bid EH 22-027 food service and kitchenware items for June 2022. And that goes to Mibble of Foods of New York, Sam Tell and Son, APCO Paper and Plastic Corp.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pass and carry.
920 is a notice to bidders. It's EH 22-029. It's the YMCA roof replacement and associated work. The bid is available July 28th, due back on August 18th. And there will be a pre-bid meeting held on site at the Y on Wednesday, August 10th at 11 a.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pass and carry.
Resolution 921 is approval of various special event permits. The American Lebanese Syrian Associated Charities Hope in the Hamptons fundraiser benefiting St. Jude Children's Hospital at the Clubhouse on July 30th from 6 to 11. The Hamptons Lifeguard Association 5th Annual Nipper Tournament at Atlantic Avenue Beach and Albert's Landing Bay Beach. That's Wednesday, August 3rd from 8 to 1 and Thursday, August 4th from 8 to 1. The Hamptons Lifeguard Association 24th Annual East Hampton Junior Lifeguard Tournament at Atlantic Avenue Beach. That's Saturday, August 6th and Sunday, August 7th from 8 to 2. The Hamptons Lifeguard Association Red Devil Open Water Swim. That's Atlantic Avenue Beach, Sunday, September 4th, 5 to 8. Amber Waves Farm Summer Hoedown Fundraiser at the farm on Friday, August 19th, 5 to 8. The benefit concert headlining the Wallflowers at the Montauk Point Lighthouse on Saturday, August 13th, 5 to 10. Springs Improvement Society's Fisherman's Fair, Ashwell Hall, Saturday, August 6th from 9 to 3. East Hampton Aviation Association Just Plain Fun Day at the airport, Saturday, September 10th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Art Center at Duck Creek, the Pollock Krasner Drip Class, Thursday, August 4th, 11 to 12. These Duck Creek, again, Explorers Club Picnic for neurodiverse adults, Sunday, August 11th, 5 to 7 p.m. Duck Creek Poetry Reading, Barry Schwabsky and John Yu, Sunday, August 14th, 5 to 6 p.m. Duck Creek Project Most Field Trip, Thursday, August 18th, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Duck Creek, the Carolyn Davis Quartet, Sunday, September 18th, 3 to 5 p.m. And lastly, Duck Creek Hannah Marks Quartet, Fall Jazz Education Family Concert, Sunday, September 18th, 5 to 7 p.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pass and carry.
2022-922 is to authorize trip to the United States Life-Saving Association National Lifeguard Championships for this year. We've got 18 East Hampton Town lifeguards that will be attending the championship, and this authorizes their travel. And I just need to say that this is as amended. There's a whereas clause and a resolve clause that says 17, and an additional lifeguard was added. And as we know, last year they came in third in the nationals, and here's hoping they do well and everybody stays healthy.
Second as amended.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pass and carry.
I'd like to offer resolution 2022-923. This is bonding an additional $500,000 for the Stephen Hands Path ball fields.
Roll call, please, Carol.
Aye.
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 Aye. Pass and carry.
924 is a title change from recreational aid to park attendant for Kylie Bono, an hourly rate of $20 an hour, effective August 1st, 2022.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pass and carry.
925 is a title change for lifeguards, retroactive to June 27th, 2022 for Dylan Giovine and Melina Sarlo.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pass and carry.
926 is a budget modification for aquaculture, bringing $1,000 from part-time salaries to $1,000 for the overtime budget line.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pass and carry.
927 is a budget modification for beaches, bringing $650 from other equipment to $650 for telephone.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pass and carry.
928 is authorize a payment for the Parks and Recreation Department for an invoice from PSE&G in the amount of $4,383.94.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pass and carry.
929 is amend resolution 2022-857 for Nelson and Pope Engineering for the HVAC Montauk Playhouse. And the cost was incorrectly listed as their proposal that was dated on May 20th, 2022. Therefore, now it'd be
The total cost is not to exceed $23,000. That includes $14,000 for design phase, $5,500 for construction phase, and $3,500 for public bid documents.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
930 is water quality 2021 grant extensions for another calendar year. The project sponsors would be for the Peconic Land Trust, Montauk Shores Condominiums, the Village of Sag Harbor, Nineveh Beach Property Owners Association, Cornell Cooperative Extension.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
931 is a SEP bid number EH22018. This is for the Stephen Hands Path Ball Fields to Land Tech Group Incorporated. Whereas the total funding accepted for the total cost will be $3,696,718.75.
I'm going to second this, but I just wanted to, and I know I've talked with David about it. This is the correct place for these ball fields to be, and I'm in full support of putting ball fields in. I have some reservations about the fact whether they should be grass or whether they should be AstroTurf or whatever the equivalent is for that. I know that this is around the country, this is what we're seeing, and that we have it on our own school fields as well. So I'm going to second it. I just want people to know I do have reservations about it.
I appreciate those comments, Sylvia.
Yeah, and you've been very helpful in talking about it openly and transparently. And anyway, I just wanted to say my piece. So I'm second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passed and carried.
Resolution 2022-932 is to authorize payment to Johnson Controls. This is an outstanding invoice from 2021. The amount is $530.97 for fire alarm and sprinkler inspection services for the sanitation department.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
Resolution 2022-933 is to hire an appraiser for Whalebone Woods. East Hampton is considering the acquisition of a home previously constructed under the town's affordable housing program. And for the purpose of maintaining affordable housing, we would like an appraisal on this property to reflect the fair market value of the home and the land together, and then the land separately. Therefore, be it resolved that Clark and Marshall are the appraisals, not to exceed $1,100.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
Resolution 934 is to hire an appraiser for Olympic Heights. Again, this is an affordable housing program located at 68 Crystal Drive in East Hampton. It has come up for sale. The town is entitled to recapture 78% of the appraised value of the land, but does not have a right of first purchase. The appraisal on this property should reflect the fair market value of the land only. Clark and Marshall would be the appraisers, not to exceed $550.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
Resolution 935 is to pay bill of 2021 to Suffolk County Water Authority. This is for the Camp Hero Sewer District. There is an invoice of $637.97 dated July 12th, 2022 for the power at the upper pump station. The town is required to pay this bill with an agreement with Suffolk County Water Authority in the amount of $637.97.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
Resolution 936 is to amend Resolution 2022-866. This is for Elena Nicolopoulos, who was appointed part-time environmental analyst, effective June 28th, 2022, and we want to make it June 21, 2022 as the effective date.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
And I have 2022-937, and this is to announce a notice of public hearing for the adoption of the Coastal Assessment and Resiliency Plan. The hearing will be held on August 4th at 2 p.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
And I also have Resolution 2022-938, and this is for the board to authorize and in support of a 2022 Montauk Revitalization CFA grant application. This falls under the purview of the Local Waterfront Advisory Plan, and this is to implement one of the sections of the adopted LWRP, which is under section 16, number 9, and that is to
I'll just read some of it. Montauk Hamlet is the second largest commercial center in the town with the highest concentration of motels, restaurants, and other facilities for transient guests. The numerous motels along oceanfront are greatly enhanced by their coastal location. Indeed, many are built directly on the dunes, and their reason for being is proximity to the beach. These water-enhanced uses contribute significantly to resort economy of the town. The hamlet includes a business area radiating from the traffic circle, presided over by East Hampton's sole six-story skyscraper, both artifacts of Carl Fisher's day when Montauk was slated to become the Miami Beach of the North. Much of the present-day motels and other resort constructions date from the post-war boom of the 1950s, predating zoning and site plan review. Much of it is aging and will progressively require refurbishing in the foreseeable future. So with the cooperation of Montauk's proactive business community, the town has an opportunity to revitalize the downtown business area. As aging structures begin to require renovation, the town will form an active partnership with the community to shape the future Montauk Hamlet into an attractive and prosperous area and address potential problems from traffic and parking flow due to flooding and erosion. The town can contribute to this partnership with overall planning, site plan, and design expertise, and facilitate an exchange among business owners and citizen groups to devise community goals and draft a plan framework for future development and redevelopment. Implementation of the resulting plan will seek to improve common infrastructure such as parking, sidewalks, parks, and active recreation sites, enhance visual appeal, and formulate community standards that will augment the entire area. And this is a grant that is available through the New York State Consolidated Funding application, and the request is for $700,000 for the Montauk Business Area Revitalization Project, and we commit to more than meet the 25 local match requirements, and we are doing so already with many of the projects that have been initiated in Montauk. And so therefore, we are asking for this support and authorization, and be it further resolved that Lisa LaCory of Fine Arts and Sciences shall be retained to draft the grant application for the Montauk Business Area or Montauk Hamlet area revitalization at the hourly rate of $150 per hour in an amount not to exceed $5,100 to be paid from the appropriate budget account.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried. Resolution 939 is a EH 21-041 change order number 2 Springs roof replacement. Ron Webb Builder LLC, whereas there's been a net change in the price with a credit of $962.12. Therefore, the net adjustment to the contract price is moving from $227,817.14 to $226,855.02.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. 940 is a notice to bidders, EH 22-028, printing of miscellaneous forms, July 22nd. Bid is available July 2022. Bids available July 21st, 2022. Bid is due August 11th, 2022.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. Resolution 941 is payout upon resignation, Richard Buxton. And let's see, where's the rest of that?
Top of 19. Next page. 19.
Oh, there's 19. Resolved that the finance department is to issue a check for $35.45 per hour prorated of 5.88 compensatory time plus prorated longevity in the amount of $863.07 for a gross total of $7,478.13.
Second. And good luck, Richard.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. Resolution 942 is to amend Chapter 160, Community Housing Opportunity Fund.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pass and carry. Resolution 943 is to adopt Chapter 62 Supplemental Real Estate Transfer Tax Community Housing.
It's 162, did you say?
Yes, Chapter 162.
Yeah, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pass and carried. 941 is Community Housing Fund Proposition with abstract for November referendum.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
I'd like to offer resolution 2022-945 as a notice of public hearing to amend Chapter 91 Beaches and Parks, add certain language that is designated and highlighted in the resolution attached.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. 53.
You're up, Sylvia. I'm sorry. Yes, accept grant of a scenic and conservation easement. This is resolution 946. And it is for grantors 188 OMH LLC. The location is 188 Old Montauk Highway in Montauk, and the agency is the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
Resolution 2022-947 is to accept grant of scenic and conservation easement for Victor and Athena Calderon. And this is at 21 Robbins Way in Springs, and the reviewing agency is the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
And I have resolution 2022-948, and this is to conduct a feasibility study for grant applications. Where town is seeking grant funding in the amount of $5,000 from Clean Energy Communities to fund a heating, ventilation, and an HVAC feasibility study for the town police department building.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. Resolution 949 and 950, I'd like to table until we have an opportunity to speak in exec session, and then come back out of exec session. And take vote.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Motion to go into executive session for advice of counsel, and I think that's all I have. Personnel, thank you.
CPF.
And CPF.
Got a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. It's now about 10 minutes to 1. Shall we reconvene at 1:30?
Yes.
And I'll send a Zoom link around. Then LTV will plan on going back into public session later this afternoon. I can't confirm the time at this point.
Thank you very much. You can just let us know, and we'll have it back up for you. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Jason.
Stay safe. Be well, everyone.
Take care, everybody. Bye.